Good evening and welcome to our show, Going Public. I'm Renee Fonseca, and joining us tonight are Terrebonne Parish School District teachers Chris Brown and Dwayne Adams, and students Seth Hunter, Ethan Lee, and Luis Posadas. The Terrebonne Parish School District will be offering a drone program to high school students for the 2021-2022 school year. Students can earn certifications to become FAA certified commercial drone pilots. I want to thank you guys for all taking time out of your day to join us tonight. It is a pleasure having you on our show. And tonight we're going to go into the drones. This is a new program that our district has been offering, so I want to ask a few questions about what the drone program has to offer. First off, with our teachers, how did you become a drone teacher?
Well, actually, I heard about it really from Dwayne. My wife teaches at Bourgeois, came home and said, Dwayne's going to be teaching a drone class. And I'm like, okay, where did this come from? So, of course, I contacted Mr. Mark Torbert. He said, talk to Mr. Pellegrin, our principal. And next thing you know, I got the drone class.
And was there any kind of special training or courses that you had to take to become certified to teach the drone course?
We had a week virtual class from a guy from
North of the lake.
North of the lake, that's about all we could tell you. So we had a virtual class, met a couple times a day for an entire week, practice tests, information, videos, and then Dwayne and I went to take our test the Monday following, passed it, and so here we are.
And can you go into detail, Mr. Adams, about the drone course or the certification that you guys had to earn?
Basically, we earned the commercial small drone license. That gives us permission to fly commercially, in other words, for compensation. And the actual certification for teaching, there was none, so we started from there. And then after the class, Mr. Brown and I looked at putting together a curriculum to teach from, and we then brought in the other two teachers who also from Ellender and from Terrebonne, who also took the course with us, and started compiling a curriculum along with Mr. Torbert. And that's where we're teaching from. And it seems to be successful because most of us have had some successful students that went and took their Part 107 FAA test and are now licensed drone pilots. We have some here with us today.
And I know you said they're licensed pilots as well. What other certifications can a student earn once they complete the drone course?
Well, this is for small drones up to 55 pounds. Anything above that, you need further certifications, and those are changing by the day. Most of the larger ones, you actually need a full-fledged pilot's license. But they are looking into doing other certifications on top of this to where you don't need to get a full-fledged pilot's license, because that becomes very time-consuming and very, very expensive.
And can you please go into detail, what does your class look like? What are some of the things that you do for your drone students? How does it operate?
Chris, you want to do that one? You want me to?
It's pretty much a normal class. I mean, we still go through lessons and discuss things, PowerPoints. I think the biggest thing that's actually different is, I'm not sure about Mr. Adams, but we flew once a week. So we took the kids out, or I took the kids out on Fridays, wherever, and put the drones in their hands, and that way, well, you can see the video. That way they get to get some hands-on experience. Generally, like Dwayne and I, or Mr. Adams and I, we didn't really have to fly a drone to get our certificate. So we thought that would be better if they actually had at least 10 hours of flight time before the class ended.
And whenever a student is in your course, do you have typical paper tests, or do they have more projects with flying the drones? How does the test work in your class?
It's pretty normal. I think, I can't speak for Mr. Adams, but I used Edge Elastic online test from this year.
So is it hands-on as well? Do they have to do the drone portion as well?
That was just kind of like on Fridays. We just kind of flew, just kind of see how they did and going through obstacles and stuff.
Now on mine, they actually had some skills tests we had to do, and you're actually looking at some of the footage of some of the skills tests right now. I also used the online tests we put together last summer, and a lot of our tests are based off of looking like the Part 107, because we didn't want the students to get there and see things and see a format they weren't familiar with.
And what challenges have you faced this school year? I know many people are in education faced a different challenge, many different challenges because of the pandemic. What challenges did you face in the classroom?
Biggest thing, my class was rather small this year. I only had like 8 students, so social distancing really wasn't a problem. Our biggest challenge was when we went to fly outside. We have to take in consideration the weather and outside circumstances, just like a regular pilot would. So weather put a hindrance on a lot of flight time. Toward the end of the year, I started doing more than just one-day flight time, and we got to do something. You can see some of the footage of some of our students where we did different activities and different hands-on skill tests outside. They did surveying, search and it's going to lead up to search and rescue type stuff. So it looks a little different that way. But being outside, pandemic really didn't affect us a whole lot.
And I know that you brought some drones with you tonight. Can you go through some of the features of each type of drone that you brought with you?
Sure, absolutely. When the students get to class, the first week of class, I try to get drones in their hand. They start off with what I call a practice drone. It's not much more than a toy drone, but it seems to be a little bit better quality. As you can see, it's got things built in to where if they crash it, it doesn't create as much damage. And it's all by getting the hands-on, eye-hand coordination of flying the drone. And these are flown from a line of sight. You don't see what the drone sees. You actually have to watch the drone a whole lot more like old radio control airplanes. These you can fly mostly inside, so it lets us fly in the drone or in the halls, and they're relatively safe. But it gives all the basic commands and all the basic skills they need to go. We then move into the little more advanced drones. These are what I call my mid-level drones. They actually have the camera on it, and the controller hooks up to a phone, so you actually get a point of view. You actually see what the drone sees. These are both inside and outside drones. Legally, we can't fly above 400 feet, and we have to stay in line of sight, but it lets the students get outside, and from H.L. Bourgeois, line of sight is 1/8 of a mile or so, so you can get these flying pretty far out. These are pretty durable. I can say so far this year we didn't have any catastrophic issues with the drones. And this leads itself to the next level drone, which is what I call a professional level drone. Very similar in operation, works a lot of the same way as a smaller drone. Has a little more capabilities. The camera's a little better quality. It comes with its own controller. You don't have to plug a phone into it, so it makes it a little more versatile for different students to use. Also, a point of view, you can see what the drone sees. It's got a lot better video camera and capabilities that way.
And what are some of the typical cost of the drones? I know you have a variety with you. What are the costs?
These little practice drones, $35, $40. Mid-level drones, probably $500, $600. And then from there, it all depends on how sophisticated you want to get. This system's about a $3,000 system, and it goes drastically up from there.
Now, when you have a first-time student, I know you said that you're not allowing them to fly your professional drone. At what point are they allowed to fly your professional drones?
When they prove to me they can handle the small one and fly with responsibility, then, like I said, I put them on the second level. And once they prove to me they can handle it, and if a situation comes up, they know how to deal with it, because part of it is flight safety and how to recover from emergencies. After that, I start letting them fly the larger drone.
And I know before the show we talked about some of the air restrictions. What are some of the differences between a school such as South Terrebonne compared to HL?
Chris?
Well, we're in Class D airspace at South Terrebonne, so we're highly limited compared to Bourgeois. I had to actually get authorization to fly at the school, so I sent that off. About 2 weeks later, I got authorization. I'm limited to how high I can fly. The drones legally can go to 400 feet, but with my authorization, I'm limited to 60 feet. So it's quite different. Dwayne can go 400 feet.
Is that because of your proximity to the
Yeah,
airport?
we're right there in the airspace, so we have to be aware of what's going on.
So do you ever take your students off-site as well to practice with the drones, or did you typically keep it to South Terrebonne?
Well, that was one of those challenges we were talking about earlier. We weren't able to leave the campus to do things because of COVID. So we were kind of confined to the campus. Next year, we'll see if we can't go a little bit further down the road and get some video.
Are there any local businesses that have partnered with you guys for possibly internships for your students or to help benefit your program?
At this time with COVID, we weren't allowed to bring anybody in on campus, and we weren't allowed to take field trips out. But if there is anybody out there looking for drone pilots, we're producing some pretty good kids, and we'd love to get involved with y'all and get some hands-on experience with these students and possibly do an internship. Mr. Torbert, the school board, and I, and Mr. Brown and other teachers have discussed it, and it's definitely a direction we'd like to go.
And before a student is allowed to take your course, do they have any prerequisites that they have to take?
They have to be 16 by the end of the school year, because you have to be 16 years old to take your test. Other than that, pretty much there's no prerequisites. It's just, we go through them. If we have students that we think will be more apt to it, we lean toward those. Students who we think might have some problems with, some issues, we'll talk with them and work with them. But we like to try to keep it open to everybody.
Now I'm going to go ahead and get started with our students that are joining us tonight to find out, how did you hear about the drone class at your schools?
I found out actually because my family saw it on a Facebook post, and they were just driving me crazy with it. Like, you need to sign up for this drone class. You sign up for this drone class. And I didn't want anything to do with it. And my mom put me in it anyways. And I ended up really enjoying it.
And what did you expect to get out of the class?
What did I honestly didn't know, but I saw it would be about, the pilot stuff, about getting commercially, flying drones and all kind of stuff.
Ethan, what kind of skills did you learn this year?
Well, I mean, obviously we learned how to fly a drone firsthand, and I feel like that can be really useful whenever you're obviously becoming a drone pilot. And we went through so many different obstacle courses and staged so many aerial photos. I feel like I can be usually ready for anything that I can tackle.
Luis, what are some of the skills that you learned as well this year?
I think it's like a lot more that goes into it. Most people think it's just, oh, I can fly a drone, but most people don't know about all the certifications and all the rules you have to do that come with it. There's a bunch of little things too that you can't fly a drone while moving in a car, which maybe some people think is oh, it's simple, but to this, the specific strict rules of the 107 CFR thing, it's a lot that goes into it. So.
And when you guys took the certification test, or I know some of you are certified, how was the test? Was it challenging?
Personally, I didn't have much of a challenge with it. I got through it pretty fast, made a 95, but I don't know. I feel like I was always good at remembering the stuff that I saw and learned in school, so I didn't have to do much studying, but studying is taking practice tests, that's always a good idea. We took practice tests in class all the time.
And now that you've finished the course, what do you plan to do with your certification?
I honestly don't know. I'm just going to go from there. I'm going to look for opportunities, and I'm going to try to take them.
And Ethan, I know you also are certified as well. What do you plan to do with your certification that you've earned?
A friend and I from the same class actually plan on starting our own real estate drone photography business, where we'll also cover the needs of the client. So I think that's the direction that we should take.
And I know before the show, we kind of talked about you guys helping out with maybe taking your school senior picture. How was that experience? Did any of you take part in that?
Yeah, Coach Brown, he was just hey, Louise, can you come help me take some pictures for the seniors? I was like, yeah, sure, I don't mind. And then all the seniors, they grouped up, made the big number 21, flew the drone. It was the first time I actually flew the big drone, and he let me do it, so I was honored to. So I flew it, made them make the number, took the picture, and I thought it looked good. And it was a good picture.
And what do you plan to do with your experience of learning how to fly a drone?
Well, my goal is to actually become an airline commercial pilot. So whenever I saw this class, I was like, oh, I could just go from here. So it would be a good start. So the drone class really helped. It's definitely a good start, and definitely be easier to go from there to fly real planes.
It definitely sounds like the course is a good stepping stone for you.
Right.
Besides that, I know you're getting your certification. What are some of the funnest parts of the class? Have you done any group projects, any teamwork that will help you build on your experiences?
The best part about the class is probably the classmates, because flying a drone like by yourself, it gets like kind of boring after a while. But because more of like a job, not like a toy, I guess. But once you have like your partner, or your co-pilot, or your VO, it's like it's kind of like a teamwork thing. It helps with teamwork skills, ethics, and it's a great elective to have in school, so it help you in real life.
And Ethan or Seth, what are some of the memories from your class as well? Did you guys participate in any group work, or did you do any obstacle courses that you will remember?
We did some kind of, I really like some of the activities we did, like when we did the maps, where we had to take a map taken above of the school, and it was separated into 4 quadrants, and each group had to take a quadrant, and then we had to tell what changed from a more recent picture that we took from our own drones. There was also the time we were fooling around with the quick shots, and we messed around with some little free video editing software and put some stuff together using that. That was fun too.
And I know you are a student at HL, correct?
Yes.
So you guys were not limited to the height or the air restrictions.
Luckily, we were not. No.
And so how was that when you were flying? Were you able to go up to the full 400
Yeah,
feet?
we sometimes we did fly at the 400 feet. Yeah, or at least under, right under it. But
And Ethan, I know you are at Terrebonne. Did you guys do any obstacle courses? Like, what was the funnest part for you?
I feel like we had so many different things that didn't exactly pertain to drones, but it gave us great insight about how, like, the sciences of flight. Like, we had to fling a pumpkin on the football field, and it taught us the sciences of flight, basically.
And I'm going to go ahead and go back to our teachers for a question for you guys. What are some of the career opportunities available to our students out there?
Well, right now, a lot of the oil field companies are utilizing drones to do inspections out on the oil rigs, because it just, for safety matters, instead of putting somebody out, at 200-300 feet hanging off on safety cables, you can fly a drone and get the same kind of footage. They're also using drones to inspect oil pipelines. Almost anything you can do with a helicopter, you can do with a drone for a whole lot less money and a whole lot less safe. More safe than putting a pilot out there. Also, a lot of law enforcement locally is now incorporating drones in their stuff. And there's rumors of a drone port being added to the Houma Airport facility, which will allow for drones to be used in a whole lot more other commercial areas, which will give our students some opportunities to possibly get involved that way.
And I know before we talked about this being a stepping stone. What can this course lead to?
Actually, a lot of the skills we cover in this course are covered in basic pilot training. Stuff such as airspace classifications, weather, emergency flight rules, communications. And I've spoken to a few private pilots that I know, and they say if you can pass this Part 107 test, that it's almost as the same thing as the basic private pilot's test. So it's a real good stepping stone. If said you're looking at going into commercial flight.
Yes, sir.
This would be a perfect place to start if you're interested in that kind of thing.
And how do you hope this course is going to impact our students of Terrebonne Parish?
Well,
Positively?
yeah. From last year, my numbers for next year are up above what the class can handle. So it's catching on. And like I said, this is a program started basically through the Jumpstart Diploma Track, which is something that the state legislature started working on, where it tends to lead itself toward career and technical courses, courses that they can get certifications. And this course falls under that. So it gives students opportunities besides just going to college to start into different careers.
If I can, let me add on to one thing. I think one of the reasons why Mr. Adams and I even started this is it's still relatively new, I guess, technology, and I don't think any of us clearly has an idea of how far this can go. So we're going to take this ride with it, I guess, and see however far this can get us.
What else do you hope to add to your course in the upcoming year?
Well, Mr. Adams and I are going to be going to another training here at the end of July, and I think it has like building and coding in there. So we had a lot of some time at the end where we did some other projects that clearly can be filled with some additional information.
So do you think there's a chance of having more than one drone course throughout your high school?
I think that's kind of the plan with Mr. Torbert. But I think what we would need is some businesses that really want to get on board with us and get some pretty good kids to fly some drones for them.
And it sounds like, I know you had your COVID restrictions last year, so this year if you guys can get out and have those field trips and even guest speakers, I would imagine, from the community to come in and talk about their experiences flying a drone, that would definitely...
I actually had people lined up from T. Baker Smith to come in and talk, but of course, it didn't work out.
No, and I know last year everything was virtual. However, I mean, those are opportunities that you guys will be able to use this year.
I've also, like I said, my oldest son flies drones, races drones, semi-professionally. And when we start talking about building drones and all, he builds them all the time. So he'd be a really good resource to bring in for the students.
Well, it looks like our time is up. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Good luck with the drone program, and thank you for sharing your knowledge with our viewers. And I want to thank you, our viewers, for watching. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday on Going Public. Good night.